Hey, welcome to episode 4 of The Hills Have Nerds, podcast with 4 dudes, sometimes maybe more, talking to you about all kinds of nerdy stuff. Today we're coming to you from a water tower locked inside it on the Warner Brothers lot. Today's topic is cartoons, particularly Western animation. I'm Josh, and with me is...
Cody.
Lee.
And Aaron.
Byron.
Shut up, Cody, you're one finger down.
Cody had
Uncalled for.
Cody had an accident.
It's not broken.
In quotations.
You want to talk about it?
Oh, yeah, all I did was smash it on a tractor.
No, we can't talk about it. He wants attention. That's what he wants.
That's a dumb question. You want to talk about it? Obviously.
Just doing it for attention.
I need to take a picture so I can show everybody.
In true hillbilly fashion, he smashed his finger on a tractor. That's your dip packing fingers, too.
That's on my left hand. I'm right-handed. It's fine.
Well, that's good for you. Good for you and your extracurriculars. Anyway, moving on. So today's episode is going to be about cartoons. We're going to talk about cartoons we like, cartoons that kind of shaped us and our love for them, contemporary stuff, maybe a little bit of history in there. But first, what's everybody into? Aaron, you want to lead us off? What are you playing? What are you watching? What are you reading?
All three can be combined into one. Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, clearly. If you know me or listened to even the last 3 episodes.
Did a new Zelda game come out? I have no idea.
Yeah, a new Zelda game come out. Of course, I've been devouring Tears of the Kingdom nonstop. Every free time that I have. Loving the game. We were just talking about it. I only have one complaint, and that is that the main story has repetitive cutscenes, and that's my only complaint of the game.
Because I watched you play it the other day when we were over here with Jordan, and it just looked like you were slapping stuff together.
Well, yeah, that's the entire game.
And I've seen a lot of pictures online of people slapping a lot of stuff together.
A lot.
One must have was a particularly well endowed plank from Ed, Ed and Eddie.
I've seen war machines, like they've made like full on tanks. I've seen them make mechs,
Helicopter.
and they've actually started doing actual machines, like rotating parts and machines and everything, and actually getting functioning machines going.
So
just recently.
So this episode is going to come out quite a while after the release of Tears of the Kingdom for anybody listening to this, for the the 3 of you, or us, that are listening to this.
Hi, Nathan.
Yeah, hi Nathan. For those of you listening to this later on, this is going to come out quite a bit after that. But apparently, Tears of the Kingdom has a mechanic. This is me as a guy who does not play Zelda games. I don't. They're single player games. I'm not super into them. My wife likes them, but I don't. And so what I understand is it has a mechanic where you can just grab crap off the ground and piece it together like, I don't know. What's like Lego movie style?
Yeah, you can glue pieces together. It's what literally there's a green gunk in between them, and it's like a glue, and you're gluing pieces together. And
like Zelda, like you do in like a Zelda game.
You can get machine parts. Even they're called Zonai technology. You can get the Zonai technology and glue them to it, and it even does more things. Like you can actually get weapons. There's actually lasers and like plasma guns.
Like Zelda.
And flamethrowers.
Yeah, Zelda.
The rocket's my favorite by far.
That's the rockets on everything.
You can attach
launch.
Yeah, the best thing is you can attach the rocket to your shield and just rocket yourself into the
So
sky.
everybody except me's What Are We Playing is going to be Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
I'm also playing Tears of the Kingdom. It's wonderful.
I'm playing it too, but I'm also playing a lot of that Omega Strikers still.
We'll talk a little bit about Omega Strikers. Anybody want to say anything else about the new Zelda game, which is it's okay.
Nah,
it's apparently okay.
Aaron's covered.
10 out of 10, game of the year.
Yeah, actually, Breath of the Wild was my favorite before. This one's better than Breath of the Wild, and so it's now my new favorite. So.
Tony, you want to say anything about it? How much you dislike it? Offer the challenging opinion. Say something negative about Zelda.
I am less inclined to like the building aspect because I'm not a super big into building things in general.
Doesn't make any sense.
I still have fun with it to an extent, but I'm not really into building the big, like, even the cars and like the wagons people driving around in. I don't care about
it. It feels to me like a ploy to lure in the Fortnite kids or something. Like you just quick build, piece stuff together like that. And now again, I don't play Zelda, so again, like I'm coming at this from someone who has limited to no knowledge of the Zelda games.
That's certainly Nintendo. Let's do something popular.
Yeah, but it's still, I'm okay with it. Like, it doesn't detract from the game in any way. It's just something that they put in there that I really don't care if it was there or not. Like, the rest of the game's solid enough that it really didn't have to be there for me. But more a neutral thing and not a negative.
You had a chance. You had a chance to offer country.
All you need to do.
I don't really I've not played it enough to say if there's anything that I don't like about it.
All you need is to build the air bike, and it's just the control rod with the 2 air fans. And you
Zelda pieces.
Anywhere you go.
Typical Zelda pieces.
Yeah. I don't like the underground really, but I'm sure I'll come to
Actually, kind of like it.
Let's just crap all over this game.
Everybody I've talked
Actually
to
like
loves the underground. It's their favorite part.
I haven't done a whole lot with it. So
see, I don't like the Skylands as much.
I've enjoyed the Skylands. I've done most of my stuff in main Hyrule, and I've just recently, now that I've actually beat the 4 temples, I just got some mechanics and got the camera and then started going underground.
What does a camera do?
You take a picture of compendium monsters, you take a picture of locations, things like that.
Like you do in Zelda, like a Zelda game.
Oh yeah,
actually. Always, what is it? Zelda Snap?
You have done that since Wind Waker.
Yeah. When was Wind Waker?
The GameCube.
The last Zelda game I played was the re-release of Ocarina of Time for the Nintendo DS, and it's the only Zelda game I've ever played. I played 6 hours of it.
I'm sorry.
So you're saying you're ill-equipped to speak on this?
I'm very ill-equipped.
You played one of the worst Zelda games. Either one of the DS ones.
I'm an opinionated man in my 30s, and I will speak on it.
I've been with this for a while now. So.
I will speak on this. No, apparently it's an incredible game. Anybody else reading anything, watching anything? Cody, you mentioned Omega Strikers. We talk about Omega Strikers.
Yeah, we can talk about Omega Strikers. It's 3v3 anime air hockey.
Yeah, it's waifu air hockey is what it is.
Kind of, yeah.
MOBA air hockey.
Yeah. It's MOBA-esque.
It has MOBA abilities, but you're playing air hockey with animated characters.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic.
Just imagine League of Legends, but 3-on-3, and the map is condensed down to like a soccer field, and you have 2 goalies and 2 forwards on each team. If anybody knows soccer, for those of you listening across the pond or anyone that's not America, football. There's none of you listening to this, but we're going to throw that out there anyway.
I'll be more impressed if someone is listening from.
Yeah, kind of like soccer. I mean, it plays like air hockey. The mechanics play
plays like air hockey, but you play it more like a soccer because you have the teams.
Yeah.
And so everyone has abilities. Again, think typical MOBA, League of Legends, skill shots, attacks. You can KO opponents on the other team. You can knock them out to have it be 3-on-2, stuff like that. And then there's multiple game modes and that. And it is an absolute blast. It is free to play. It's on Steam.
Yeah, it's on everything currently.
It's currently on every system.
It's pure crossplay, right?
They just got to work on PS4.
It's even on mobile too. Yeah, you can play on your phone.
Absolute garbage on the phone.
Why would you play it on your phone?
They updated it. It's not as bad. It's still bad, but not as bad now.
It's like everything else. It's fantastic. They just got 60 FPS to work on the Switch too.
Yeah.
So, would you ever play a MOBA on your phone?
I'm not poor enough to play against my phone.
Wow.
What the hell did you just say?
I hate phone games.
I do too, really.
Yeah,
so
that's just how I am.
I need to go back. We gotta cut that out.
No, we're leaving that in.
When Travis edits this, please cut that line out. I'm not poor enough to play games on my phone.
Don't you dare.
And we're putting that at the beginning of every episode from now on.
I
can clip that easily.
That's a Shane thing here. Somebody today was like, "Do you have an iPhone charger?" I said, "No, I'm not rich enough to own an iPhone." Just stuff like that.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm not poor enough to have an Android, which is what I do have.
So Aaron, Cody, and I have been playing a lot of Omega Strikers with our friends. My son enjoys it. He beats the hell out of me all the time. As far as media we watched, I know Aaron and I recently watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. That came out, last weekend before last?
Yes, and Josh bawled his eyes
I cried like a baby. My daughter cried so hard she thought she was going to vomit.
Yeah. And I laughed at them.
I watched, there's a particular scene, we're not going to go into any spoilers here. I mean, even though, this is going to come out 3 months after. But there's a particular scene like in the beginning where it kind of starts setting up Rocket's backstory and this and that, and that's kind of the primary focus of the movie is Rocket. and his backstory and where he comes from. You have the High Evolutionary as your main antagonist. That's no spoilers.
Yeah, those stuff coming out early. So.
And so there's a scene where it's Rocket and these animals, and they're just talking. And I look at my wife when that happens, and I just tell her, "This is going to be devastating. I'm not going to be okay."
I'm not mentally prepared for this.
No. And guess what? I was right. I cry at the end of like cartoons when they learn the lesson is wash your hands after you go to the bathroom. Like when the power of friendship trumps all, I get teary eyed. So it's something like that, like, the culmination of the Guardians of the Galaxy storyline, the main James Gunn trilogy, and the history of Rocket Raccoon, and you have all these cute little animals in these horrifying situations. I mean, screw it. I'm done. Like,
if it makes
He's
you
about
feel,
to start crying now.
I am. it's something else.
If it makes you feel any better, I was crying by the end too, but only because Brittany had hit me so many times.
You're a monster.
I've been told.
I cried during Super Mario.
Yeah, I did too. I teared up a little bit.
It tore me up.
I did. Me and my son cried with me.
It was so overwhelming the whole time. I was like,
Super Mario, another game. The Super Mario movie. Is that Super Mario
Yeah.
Brothers movie? Is that what it's called?
No, Super Mario 64.
Super Mario 64 came out recently.
I cried.
But no, the Super Mario Brothers movie was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I loved it. Thought it was really good.
Absolutely.
digitally available now.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch it. I've not seen it yet.
We probably originally was going to record this episode when it came out in theaters, but
yeah, we so little story about what happened last week. So we were going to record this episode last week. We were actually going to record this episode like 3 weeks ago, and life got in the way. I got a new job. Bunch of stuff happened. Life gets in the way sometimes. But last week, everything was cool. We were clear. We record on Monday evenings. We talked a couple days before the weekend, and we said, "Hey, everybody cool to record on Monday?" Yeah. Monday night rolls around, and I'm hopping online to play some games with Aaron and Cody, and I'm like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" And then I realized, oh shit. We all three at the same time. We were supposed to record a podcast tonight.
we were playing Omega Strikers.
All four of us forgot about it. So if that shows you, if that's any inclination to our dedication to this podcast.
And I tried to cut my finger off this week. So.
Oh, yeah. Cody had a hillbilly accident.
Yeah.
With a tractor.
He said, I'm not getting enough attention.
Yeah. I didn't take a picture and send it to Shane.
Somebody's having a new baby and Cody feels left out. Stupid baby on me. Is everybody going to forget about me when the new baby arrives? So, speaking of babies, let's talk about cartoons.
Ooh, hot take.
Yeah.
Wow, we start out with Muppet Babies? Is that
I know. I'm talking about
I am a baby, thank you.
the man children and the tiny wiener babies that love cartoons.
I don't watch cartoons. I'm a man.
Not tiny wienered babies.
Whoa.
Tiny wussy baby. Okay.
I
Well,
was like, what's he?
what's he saying? Well, this is the last episode of the podcast, everybody, so enjoy
It
this.
must be incredible.
We're not. No, we're not doing that.
Well,
maybe. No.
Anyway.
So we're talking about cartoons. We're going to talk about Western animation primarily. We're not talking about anime.
That's large enough to have its own
Yeah,
topic.
we'll do that on our own thing, and on another episode. So we're going to talk about cartoons. This was Lee's idea to bring this up and want us to talk about it today. So we're going to let Lee lead off. So Lee, what do you want to talk about cartoons?
All right. Definition. When you think cartoons, what do you think? Because it's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on with the word cartoons.
for me, a cartoon is an animated Western term, usually, but it's an animated media, is what I think of cartoons. So, 3D animation, 2D animation, I consider both cartoons.
See, I'm maybe a little different. Like, after being introduced to anime and having like a overarching story across everything, every episode directly references the last one. I was more into cartoons where they're like single chunks, like one episode wraps up a story.
Self-contained.
Self-contained. They may reference stuff that happens, because I mean, like in Rugrats, you have a few things where like this new baby came in, Bill, and they continue on like that and like reference like small things here or there, but there's no actual story progression.
Like an overarching narrative.
Did it make you angry when the new baby came over?
Yeah, of course he mentions the new baby.
Initially, I was like, "New baby, they're gonna forget about me.
Don't forget about Tommy. Are you Tommy? Is that what you've done?
Tommy, go smash your finger.
Did you smash your finger on purpose so we can segue into Rugrats? Is that what it was?
Maybe I know. Maybe.
It's a horrible personality trait, Cody. You really need to work on it.
I'll just go home and sit in the corner then.
What about you, Josh?
What do I think about when I think of cartoons?
Yeah.
So when I hear cartoons, the first thing that comes to mind is and it may not be the most apt thing or the most like quintessential example of it, but I think about the old Cartoon Network, like cartoons, when they were showcasing all these different animators and these new upcoming things and all these. So, that was where Dexter's Lab started, Johnny Bravo, Powerpuff Girls, Courage the Cowardly Dog, all these just amazing cartoons and animators got their start on that little, so I don't know if they got their start. I don't know all the history of it, but that's where I was introduced to it.
I think a lot of them did.
There's a lot of shows that started there as far as animators.
I know a lot of
shows
on
that.
Yeah. So I think about that. I think about getting up Saturday mornings and watching, Kids WB.
Yeah.
And I know Pokemon's there, and that's kind of, I don't know. Some people get touchy if you call it an anime, whatever. But we're not going to talk about Pokemon.
But anyway.
But I think of Animaniacs, Freakazoid. When I think of cartoon, I don't think of things like Reboot or Code Lyoko, like the 3D stuff. I think of the shaded, hand-drawn, animated 2D worlds.
2D hand-drawn animated.
Yeah. That's what I think about.
That's actually where I am too. Is when I think cartoon. I don't think the 3D stuff. But I have no issue with it being the 3D stuff. It's just I think.
Why do you hate 3D animation?
So I'm not poor enough to watch the 3D. So let's clarify and say that I'm sitting here in a shirt with holes in it. So I am totally poor enough.
Which he paid $40 for at the Gap. Pre-worn is what they call it. I was like, I want somebody else's sweat in this thing. I have no intention of sweating. Can we get a day laborer to roll around in this before I buy it?
I think that sort of stuff. I think just 2D hand-drawn animation. And when you think cartoons too, isn't that like comic strips are sometimes referred to as cartoons?
Were they?
Yeah,
I think they were. I think
like political cartoons.
Well, that, but I think Garfield was originally referred to as a cartoon when it came out in the strip.
There's a lot out there, and it's like it doesn't necessarily have to be funny. It doesn't necessarily have to be like serious.
What is the definition of cartoon?
I've never looked at it.
You got your laptop there. Google it. We have the breadth of human knowledge at our fingertips. What is the definition of cartoons? And I'm going to vamp for a second while Lee looks this up.
A simple drawing showing the features of its subjects in a humorously exaggerated way, especially a satirical one in a newspaper or magazine. Second definition, a motion picture using animation techniques to photograph a sequence of drawings rather than real people or objects.
Okay, so comic strip or...
I think the second one was more adapted since people started animated things, because I think they started out being referred to as animated cartoons.
Okay, so cartoons have to... So that first definition have to be humorous?
Yeah, this is in a humorously exaggerated way.
So like the webcomic Lost, that's not a cartoon.
Well, it's like caricature, like parody.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess
like Marmaduke. Funny. What are those Cats and Jammer kids up there?
Kevin Hobbs.
Oh man, I love Kevin Hobbs. Yeah. Anyway, we're diverting.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like when you say cartoons, and then also too, like actually, when I think cartoons, I think TV shows. I don't think necessarily animated movies. So, which I have no problem calling an anime movie cartoon. Yeah. Like I love the cartoon Little Mermaid.
Just your thought.
I go to.
Yeah, as we're growing up, we get attuned to the idea of Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah, I think it's really where mine sticks.
And that's where a lot of people think that they think Saturday morning cartoons. Yeah. That's, like I said, for me, where I went to school for animation and stuff, I always think of 2D animation, 3D animation into one, cartoons all together. And that's anime is cartoons. It's just it's separated as anime for like Japanese cartoons.
We're not talking about anime today.
I'm not.
We're not trying to piss off the anime nerds yet. Wait till we get to the anime episode.
Anime's not always humorous.
I have some very strong opinions for that episode. Anyway, the cartoons, but yeah, I mean, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
That is my take. Apparently, cartoons can go to comic books.
Yeah, I don't come from the animation portion of it.
I don't know if I'd call it comic book or cartoon.
According to the definition.
Well, it was
original
in a humorous
definition.
way, but it was like a strip. Did it have like a so what is it? One more time.
A simple drawing showing the features of its subjects in a humorously exaggerated way, especially a satirical one in a newspaper or magazine.
So it's got to be in a newspaper or a magazine.
Well, it
so
says especially. That doesn't limit to.
Okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
So, as long as it's a funny book.
Yeah, and
I mean,
the whole point is not
that's
to argue
stretching a little bit, but
We got to argue. We got to get clicks.
I was going to say, like, my point is not to argue the definition of cartoon. It's just like, when you think.
We gotta get that merchandise. We gotta start setting up teams.
'Cause I was like, when I was thinking about all the things I was wanting to talk about, the cartoons I wanted to talk about, it was like show. And I was like, wait a minute, I love Disney films too, and like those are cartoons.
Those are
yeah,
cartoons.
those should count.
Those are immaculate hand-drawn cartoons.
So some of
those are
Hand-drawn just
gorgeous.
tears me up.
there was a
I'm
neat
just saying, Ron.
thing I saw, and it was like Robin Hood. It was like a scene from Disney's Robin Hood, and then a scene from Winnie the Pooh, and then a scene from The Jungle Book,
Rotoscoping?
and they are
yeah.
all the same scene.
Yeah. It's called
And they-
rotoscoping.
What is it?
Rotoscoping.
Rotoscope.
I mean, we're all about that age. We need to go to the doctor and get a rotoscope.
Yeah. I haven't had a rotoscope in a while.
Cody can't get one now because his finger.
Yeah, I got a way to.
He can't rotoscope anybody.
Can't even put a glove on.
That's all right.
No, so it's called roto. So what is rotoscope?
It'd be like if you were, I'll say we have a video of you dancing, we could play that video and trace over it. And so what they did to make animation cheaper for themselves, eventually they start rotoscoping their old stuff.
It's essentially the old style of copy paste.
Yes.
It's like in the cartoons, like Ed, Ed and Eddie, you see them running past the same background like 7 times in a row sequence.
And that was a big in Scooby Doo. I mean, like a lot of Hanna-Barbera stuff went buck wild with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, back in the days, they hand drew everything, and then they had to paint all that in
Yeah.
by hand.
Understandable.
That takes forever.
That's too much. Like what? I don't understand. Like I get tired painting one miniature. Who can sit and paint backdrops upon backdrops or like different mouth movements and just the level of detail and just meticulous, and even in something like, because we dabbled in, I mean, would you call Flash animation cartoons?
Yeah, they are Flash cartoons. So yeah.
So if you think of like the early days of Newgrounds and Albino Black Sheep, and when Flash animation was in its infancy, even some of those like really really rudimentary ones, that's hours upon hours. Where the guys, it's just one stick figure, and it's kind of like
60 frames a second.
Yeah, it's kind of like tapping through, and not every part's moving, or it's moving real slow, or what. Like that's just the level of meticulousness.
Flash was an amazing step forward from hand drawing, because Flash, they had a transportation tool where the computer would actually certain times they would actually mold the object for you from frame. So you set your hand here at the pointing up, and you point it straight forward. You could draw this and draw that, and you say, all right, I want to transform from here to here, and it would actually help.
It would move it to, okay.
Yeah. So Flash.
So you'd have to individually animate each frame. The computer would kind of fill that in.
For simple things, if you really wanted an elaborate thing, you still had to do each frame yourself.
And now we have AI that will just do the whole damn things for you. You just type in a prompt, and there it is.
And then it gives everything 7 fingers and 12 toes. And
some of those are horrifying, and some of them are incredible, and some of them are sexy.
Someone was commenting, I just changed my profile picture, and one of my friends was like, "That's not even the right hair color for you. Where are your freckles?" So they were pointing out every little flaw, and I was like, "It's just an AI photo. Don't worry about it." And it gave me brown hair and perfect skin, which is really nice.
The AI is not you that we will ever be.
Yeah, well, she was like, "Where's your freckles?" I was like, "I got rid of those."
It sees me for how I
took a sponge and scrubbed them off.
I am finally clean.
It shows the true me, the butterfly, metamorphosed from his cocoon.
So I feel like it'd be low-hanging fruit to talk about favorite cartoons. Let's talk about first. What is the first cartoon you remember, like, watching?
Wow.
Yeah.
First thing I remember watching.
Cody?
Anytime to think, I got mine ready.
The Blue Girl.
Yeah. I would say as far as like
what is that?
It's an anime we don't talk about.
I would say as far as like actual cartoon, it is probably like Rugrats.
Really?
But as far as like show, it's like Timothy the Tooth.
Oh, that's awesome. Timmy.
Aaron?
The first cartoon I remember watching was actually a Superman VHS that I remember my aunt got me for my birthday, and it was like when I was like 4 or 5 years old, something like that. I don't remember how old I was, but I do remember getting the Superman VHS tape, and that was the first one that I remember watching.
A couple of Ren and Stimpy ones, but I'm gonna say that was after Rugrats.
Oh yeah.
All right.
The city's wonderful.
Yeah.
I got some words about Ren and Stimpy here shortly, but
Anyway.
my first cartoon, and I guess we can call it cartoon because it wasn't like a TV show, but it was a VHS, and we would rent it from the library. My mom would rent it for me, and I don't know how old I was, but I would watch it just on repeat. And it was Jeffrey Giraffe's Animal Alphabet.
Is that Jeffrey Giraffe from?
No, it's not. It's not the Toys R Us giraffe, but it is a copyright friendly knockoff. Or Toys R Us giraffe was that?
With a J?
It's the Animal Alphabet. Just look at Jeffrey with a G. Jeffrey Giraffe's Animal Alphabet. And it's the song was like, "This is the Animal Alphabet. How much more fun can an alphabet get?" And that will stick with me until the day I die.
That's a good knockoff, dude.
Yeah, right. Dude, right. Can you see it? Yeah, and we'll post it in the show notes. But that thing's got to be 30 years old, like at least. And that is the earliest cartoon I remember watching, and I was just on repeat because he would take the letters, and the letters would act like VHS tapes, and he'd put them into a VCR, and then you'd watch like an actual video of the animal, And then that, and like All Dogs Go to Heaven was.
Oh,
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was that dark.
Just scraping against the table.
I apologize to anybody that heard whatever the hell that was.
And then Fern Gully, I remember it.
Oh yeah,
Fern Gully.
So what about you, Lee? What was your first?
Scruffy. It was a.
The Bella Venison Vendette Honja Scruffy.
Yeah.
Okay. So Lee was part of the Hitler Youth. He's not poor enough to be part of the Hitler Youth.
It says Hanna-Barbera.
Scruffy?
I remember seeing that dog. I don't remember the name, but I think I remember seeing this cartoon.
Ruby Spears presents Scruffy, a beautiful, heartwarming story of love.
Dude, that's not true.
A family treasury collection, fully animated feature-length movie, approximately 60 minutes.
It is absolutely.
So is this podcast.
You probably couldn't watch it. It's so
Heart-wrenching.
Heart-wrenching.
I can't watch All Dogs Go to Heaven now.
Oh really?
I can't.
It gets rough. This cartoon is like super sad. Like everything in it, it's like Scruffy is born to like a.
He's a dog.
It looks like a Lady and the Tramp knockoff. Is what it looks like. But what came out first?
Mixed in with Old Yeller and
Lady and the Tramp came out. Okay.
It's like born to a poor dog, or a stray dog, and then the dog can't get enough food.
Scruffy definitely played phone games.
He's just a poor dog in a poor family.
Couldn't feed the dog. Eventually, there's a house fire, and it's like she gets a home, and the house burns down. Her owners die. I mean, it's just constant heartache in this. And it's 16 minutes long, guys. It's just like plot point after plot point of just terrible things happening to this dog. And I'd watch that on repeat when I was little. So
that explains
that's
a lot.
what's wrong with it.
I know, right?
I remember. What was it? The Pebble and the Penguin?
Oh yeah, that's
Don
Bluth.
Yep.
Don Bluth.
Heck yeah.
Okay. Looking at Scruffy here on the laptop, that is a Lady and the Tramp knockoff.
Well,
that's like what's the white line thing?
Oh, Kimba.
Kimba.
See, I think it's
the opposite way around.
That's anime. We're not talking about anime.
Is it anime?
It is anime. It is Japanese animated. How dare you, Josh?
I don't think I've dropped an F-bomb in any of these yet, but I'm about to. No, I think
you have dropped.
These are like, it is like the cheap knockoff. sort of films. Like
Yeah.
I remember going to Walmart and it'd be like, you had Disney films that are like $20, $25,
Yeah.
and then you have these that are like $5 to $10.
Oh yeah, I remember we got like Underdog and
Oh man, never fear.
we got a lot of-
Underdog is here. Yeah.
I remember we got quite a few of the Superman ones.
You knew the
We
job
used
was
to have
dangerous
the
when you took.
VHS tapes that we used to get all the time. They had like Looney Tunes,
Oh.
all those. I remember Mom and Dad used to go buy. They bought the $5 little VHS tapes, and we'd bring them home and watch cartoons on them.
Love cartoons.
But I remember also when I was a kid waking up, going down to my grandmother's house every morning on weekends, and we'd watch Earthworm Jim cartoon.
Oh, that's awesome.
I remember the-
Fooey.
Hong Kong Fooey,
Number one super
and-
guy, Hong Kong Fooey, quicker than the human. Yeah, that is wildly racist.
That's
Hong
what
Kong
it
Fooey.
is. I was really hoping that they would animate that next because they started doing like Rocky and Bullwinkle and they did all those other shows. I was like, man, I really want a Hong Kong Fooey.
I don't know if that'd fly now. They recently removed. So one of my favorite, and I know we talk about favorites all the time. We don't want to talk about favorites. It's low hanging fruit, right? Is what you said. But
I just want to get that out of the way first.
my favorite Disney animated movie of all is Aristocats. Love Aristocats, and the song from it with the Siamese cat. Is the
that extremely
Siamese.
racist
little bit
That's Cinderella.
stereotypical.
Oh, that one's Cinderella?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Simon.
That's
That's
not
okay.
Cinderella. That's Lady and the Tramp.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
It's like
Lady and the Tramp is.
it is
I had
Lady
a
and the
dog
Tramp.
named after Lady from Lady and the Tramp and Lucy from I Love Lucy.
So what's the song from?
That's when they're playing Everybody Wants to Be a Cat, and then he has this kind of piano break, and it goes.
Oh,
I'm gonna say it because he goes Shanghai, Hong Kong, Egg Foo Young. He goes fortune cookie, always wrong. And he goes, oh, that's a hot one, and it's just a wildly racist stereotype. And if you
canceled.
If you look up like the Aristocat song on Spotify, they've removed that part now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was my favorite part, and I understand it's problematic. Like I get, okay, that and that's from a different time and all that, and then others people that want to argue that's from a different time. You got to preserve these. It's kind of freaking racist. Like it's okay if we don't have these wild stereotypes and caricatures of things and stuff. That's fine. It's gone. But just young me thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then, but the Everybody Wants to Be a Cat and just the whole thing of Aristocats, I loved the kind of juxtaposition was the rich cats coming into the poor cats alley and learning that
I'm so mad.
that there's a
Abraham DeLacy, Giuseppe Casey, Thomas O'Malley.
a ricky ticky tick.
Aristocats is good.
I
so
haven't
good.
watched that movie in ages.
I realize there's a trend in the movies I like because it's Aristocats, Lady and the Tramp, All Dogs Go to Heaven, Oliver and Company.
Josh confirmed furry.
Maybe. I dated a girl. It was
A furry?
oh yeah.
Really?
Oh my
Wow.
god. Like
Wow, this sounds like a good
Fox
episode.
News Tail,
later.
all that stuff.
I love
I am now
those
married to a wonderful woman who is not, and we will not go any further into it.
Anyway.
But yeah, that was an interesting time. Maybe the Hills Have Nerds after dark. If we ever get into that for
Oh, wow.
okay.
They're talking about the whole like sensitivity sort of thing with cultures and such. I actually really appreciate that Disney on their older films they put a warning on
Yeah.
Disney Plus
Yeah.
stuff. It's like there are sensitive things mentioned in this film that are blah blah do not reflect blah blah. Actually, I'm glad that stuff's in there for my daughter because like when my daughter sees that, I want her and she reads that, I'm like I can point this out to you, but I want you to recognize that this is not appropriate.
Yeah.
It's a good learning experience to leave it in with a disclaimer.
Yeah, I like that.
But it's one of those, like, you can't just go around showing constantly that with no context.
Well, I mean, how many we're the effing Hills Have Nerds. How many crazy stereotypical hillbillies do you see in media?
I love it.
I do too, but there are people that take offense to that, and that is a very valid feeling to have.
Well, see, my problem is they want to take everything else out but leave those in. That's the only issue.
Well, sometimes
I
they
have.
take it out.
I'm
I mean,
okay.
sometimes they take it out. I mean,
I love
that's a whole other discussion.
I mean, there's some of them need to be taken out, but
yeah, some of it's bad.
Actually, I mean, we're adults here, but the stereotype of incest, I don't, and for Appalachia, that's kind of offensive, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm like, but everything else is just kind of like goofy, like, you know, XXX
the dumb hillbilly
Yeah.
that drinks all the time.
The guy with the
Yeah,
overalls.
I
Like,
know
It's grotesquely rooted in historical truth, but it is a horrible stereotype. Which that's where stereotypes come from, right? There's a little bit of little bit of truth underneath all that veneer of caricatureness.
It's just
Hyperbolic.
Yeah,
that hyperbole. There's a veneer of truth underneath the hyperbole, but it's more of a let's look at this historically. What were the reasonings behind that?
But it's insulting when a girl from Ohio asks me if I have the Weather Channel.
Did that happen?
Yes,
That's fantastic.
That's because she's from Ohio.
When I was in Pennsylvania, and you guys hear when I chew tobacco and when I have a dip in, I get real country. Like I don't know what
you sound like cornbread.
I do, but when I was living in Pennsylvania, I lived in Westchester, Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia for like 6 months. I would always get asked, "Why don't you talk right?" Or why don't you talk right?
That's offensive.
I'm like, F you, why don't you talk right?
Yeah.
They told me that in Louisville. They were like, "I can't understand you. What are you saying?"
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't understand. What's wrong with the way I'm? What do you mean the way I'm talking?
Going back to the cartoons on that, I can't understand your accent. SpongeBob.
And I feel like presenting it like that is in a way that's not really poking fun at any particular group is a good way to present those comedic moments. Like when you isolate someone out, it can end up being mean spirited. Yeah. Or even if that wasn't the intent, it can end up being. And I think that's good that we have that, like with what you said with Disney, puts the disclaimers there. I do think stuff like that needs to be preserved. So we're four white dudes sitting around it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, whatever our opinion is worth. But I do think things like that. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say. I mean, I still enjoy. What was it? The old Hanna-Barbera. There was a cartoon where they had the bear family, and it was like the Hatfield McCoys, but they were the bears.
Yeah.
And they had the paw, and he was like Country Bears. Was it
Country Bears?
Country Bears, wasn't it? Was that? That was
it might
different.
be the Country Bears.
Country Bears was different. I'm pretty sure.
No, they're paw. Yeah. It's the hillbilly bears. That's okay. Well,
I knew it was different from Country Bears.
Core memory unlocked. I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah, I remember Paul.
Yeah, I remember that.
He's always like, "Paul, where are you going?" And Paul's like,
But I mean, the Beverly Hillbillies, man. I know we're talking about cartoons, but I mean, the Hillbilly Bears is a direct cartoon ripoff of the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah.
Which will lead me into my topic that I brought to the table was the Flintstones, which hopefully we can talk about a little bit. But the Flintstones was a direct, answer to the "Honey, I'm Home" style of sitcom. From there with Jackie Gleason's Honeymooners.
I kind of like
stuff
about
like
that
that.
actually.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of stuff.
That and Jetsons, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Flintstones more so than the Jetsons was an answer to the Flintstones. It came out post that. Like the Flintstones was the quintessential. Like I said, I got a whole big thing about it. But just to kind of wrap up the whole sensitivity and cartoons, because that could be a whole effing episode.
"Oh yeah."
I mean, look at Steamboat Mickey.
That's in every
right, like Steamboat Mickey, all the old Warner Brothers cartoons, the Hanna-Barbera stuff, like Bugs Bunny did all kinds of racist shit.
Oh yeah.
It's in every media. It's not just in cartoons. It's in television shows. It's in.
But it was coming from
movies.
a time when it was accepted as a norm.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, it was accepted as comedy, and they weren't being offensive. It was just comedy. But the more you realize that,
I mean, a lot of those came out whenever discrimination, separation, segregation, everything was still legal.
Yeah.
So that
they're essentially animated minstrel shows, and it's like looking at it now. Like back then, when you're kids, you just see, "Oh, that's funny." Right, that's funny, and you don't realize
like Bugs Bunny dressed up as a chick.
And you don't realize that that's kind of putting ideas in that. Oh, I'm seeing all these the way these tribesmen or whatever are presented, and then as you grow up, you kind of keep that. I think that can happen where people keep that idea of this characterized other.
Oh, for sure.
Not only tribesmen, but even the Siamese cat from Aristocats, and just all manner of different
I mean, that's how it started.
nationalities. Right?
That's how I teach my kids with these ideas. It's like, whenever you learn something, it's basically your brain opens that file cabinet, stores it in there, and then whenever this happens again, this subject comes up. You deal with somebody who's from an Asian culture. It's like, pull the drawer open. What do I remember? Oh yeah, the scientist K. Then you go,
was your fortune cookie always wrong?
Yeah,
it's at least good that it's at least good that they've put like the warning, like you can at least recognize it. That's not where we should go. We should file that one away somewhere else and ask a different question.
You looked like you had something to say a minute ago. I think.
No. You're good.
Okay. So anyway, that was kind of a little more serious than we've gotten the last few.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, people are people, right? And everybody wants to be represented in a flattering way, and we should poke fun at each other, right? That's where a lot of comedy comes from. But we don't have to be extremely mean-spirited about it.
There's a line that you don't need to cross.
Yeah.
And clearly. I mean, you take a joke.
Yeah.
Be able to take a joke, but there's a line that you shouldn't. That people shouldn't cross.
People.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where it evolved. Is like representation is important, 100%.
Yeah.
Then it's like accurate, fair representation is ultimately important.
Yeah.
Honestly, the accurate part.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother can of worms that I would love to get into, but not right now.
We'll go on from there.
Yeah.
What's our next topic?
We were talking about the Flintstones, so I want to talk about the Flintstones.
You want to talk about the Flintstones?
I want to talk about the Flintstones.
Before you get specifically into the Flintstones, let me say this.
Okay.
I think that part of why I like cartoons too is because there's TV shows dealt with a lot of different ideas. Like the Flintstones deals with a lot of different social topics and things like that, right?
Yeah.
And it was like other shows were doing this too. It was like you had Family Ties, you had the Odd Couple, All in the Family, stuff like that.
All in the Family, Three's Company.
And this was like a kid's way of being exposed to this sort of stuff, and it was like it's more palatable for me as a child to watch a cartoon and see these ideas. So I learned a lot from that stuff. I mean, like even more politically charged stuff, like Wait Till Your Father Gets Home. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
So that brings us to
the Flintstones, and so the Flintstones was absolutely groundbreaking. Like when it debuted, 110% groundbreaking. It was the first prime time animated series, the absolute first. It debuted aired at like 8:30 p.m. After most kids went to bed. It was aimed at adults. It showed that kind of that Honey I'm Home style family, all the honeymooners and stuff.
September 30th of 1960.
Yeah, I got it.
19 what?
60.
1916.
1916.
1960.
My
dad was 10 years old.
Yeah.
That's wild to think.
It was on ABC. It was from Hanna-Barbera. Meant that, and apparently it was hard for them to. It's hard for William Hanna and Joseph Barbera to pitch this, like to get people to pick it up, and they spent forever trying to market it to networks that this was an animation, but it's aimed at grown-ups, and so they went through like a ton of iterations on what they were going to do, with this show. They wanted to kind of make a cartoon that was the domestic family sitcom type thing, all like Jackie Gleason's The Honeymoon, which we mentioned a couple times. But they wanted to, give it that twist where it wasn't limited by, the video recording technology at the time. It wasn't just going to be like a 2-room sitcom. And so they went through like Wild West, Romans, and then like apparently one of the artists just kind of oddly sketched 2 cavemen standing beside a record player, and the record player was, the iconic bird like bent over with his beak on the thing, and that was it. So they got that. And so the story is that and I get all this information. I want to give credit where credit's due, from the Guardian
of the Galaxy.
There's the Guardian. I'll look up the person who wrote it and give them credit here a bit. But so the story is that once the pilot episode got made, and then they finally got some networks to look at it, that they had all these network execs in a room watching it, and they were trying to pitch it to the networks. And Hanna-Barbera were super worried because nobody left. Like it was just an absolutely silent room the whole time. And the story that has kind of went down in folklore now is that none of the network execs laughed because they didn't want the opposing guy to know how much they enjoyed it, thinking they were going to outbid them on it.
It's interesting.
Right. I mean, that's I didn't know it either until I started looking at stuff. But I mean, you think about the Flintstones and how groundbreaking it was, and just one of the big things is it was the first show on TV, and this is a cartoon. First show on TV to have a man and a wife share a bed.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was the first one of those.
Really?
Yeah.
It was the first show on TV to have a man and wife share a bed, and it, looking back on it, and when I was reading this article, I kind of realized that, like, looking back on some of the themes of the Flintstones, like Fred had a gambling addiction, and that caused genuine strife in his marriage. You know what I mean? Barney tried to kill himself. One time, it's played for gags, right? But it's a kind of serious. And I know you have like Looney Tunes and stuff where Sylvester the cat will drink the poison or something and stuff. Yeah. But it's kind of played for gags, but it also had that kind of serious moment to it where he's talked down by Fred from this stuff, and you have Barney and Betty can't conceive a kid, right? And so they have to adopt that man. They have like a friggin' legal battle over it, apparently. And I'm parroting a lot from this Guardian article, but it's super interesting. And then you see all of the contemporary adult animation that kind of came off the back of that. You got the Jetsons. Top Cat was marketed at adults. I didn't know. I had no clue.
I had no idea.
Top Cat was one of the primetime cartoon. And when I think about Top Cat, I don't even remember any really adult theme. But
I just remember Top Cat.
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
Top Cat, and he had his gang of goons and the little short dude. Yeah. What was the short guy's name on Top Cat?
I don't remember.
Short cat.
Short.
Little short blue cat, little Danny DeVito cat.
Bottom cat.
Yeah, and then the Jetsons, where they were kind of that nuclear family. Not necessarily nuclear families. We're still in the 60s and 70s. And that nuclear family came out in the 80s. But the nuclear family was the Simpsons, right? Like that's where all this stuff builds to. Like without the Flintstones, I don't think we get the Simpsons and Family Guy and American Dad and Bob's Burgers, Futurama, BoJack Horseman. Any like really adult focused animation. I don't think we get if the Flintstones doesn't work.
Yeah. So everything else was goofy and
and then the Flintstones did the Great Gazoo, and it was like
just a scrappy dude. Flintstones.
You don't like the Great Gazoo?
The Great Gazoo? No.
Of course not, Dum Dum.
Oh my god, that's a dark time in human history.
I think the darkest time in Flintstone history with the Great Gazoo was the second movie with the Great Gazoo.
There's a second. I know the Flintstones and the Jetsons.
No.
Do you mean like
the live action movie?
Like the Viva Rock Vegas?
Yeah.
Is the Great Gazoo in that?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever watched Viva Rock Vegas.
Oh my god, it's horrifying. Because they made him look like the Great Gazoo.
Yeah, I need a picture of this. Somebody bring me up a
profile.
picture of the Great Gazoo from Viva Rock Vegas.
I never watched it either.
I remember watching the first Flintstones movie, and this was when the theater this is when the theater in downtown Pikeville was a thing. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
And it had like the stairs, like the carpeted stairs you'd walk up. Oh my dear God!
What? I told you.
What in the name of abominations? What hell hath man wrought?
We were just too busy wondering if we could.
Not if we should. Where's Jeff Goldblum?
Oh.
Who okayed this?
It's Alan Cumming.
I don't give a who it is. That is.
I'm having nightmares tonight.
Oh my dear God!
I can't believe you hadn't seen that before.
Okay, yeah. Anyway,
yeah, the old.
I've seen it.
Why
movie, but isn't that who plays Barney in that film?
He's the
not Rick Moranis, because it was Rick Moranis in the first one.
No,
it was John Goodman and Rick Moranis for Fred and Barney.
Is it the Baldwin? Yeah, Stephen Baldwin. Like he's one of the Baldwin brothers. I can't remember which one. But
he looks like he does porn.
Then you got the King.
Robert Baratheon.
Yeah.
Robert Baratheon. Oh, I'm glad he got him a good role.
Oh, Ned.
Twinkle toes.
Ned, I think I've yabbed my last do. Fred Flintstone, black of hair. Pebbles Flintstone, blonde of hair. What? Anyways, the Flintstones was just groundbreaking. I just wanted to kind of mention that. Did anybody not get to mention their favorite cartoon?
Oh, we didn't talk about them, did we?
Yeah, you were the only one who actually asked.
Was I the only one that actually answered the question?
We didn't actually ask the question. You just went into your
I just went
favorite
into it. I just said, well,
Yeah.
I mean, screw it, it's my podcast.
Who knew? I thought this was the Hills Have Nerds. We didn't know this is Josh and the Hills Have Nerds.
No,
Josh-
Josh has nerds.
Yeah.
Josh has nerds. Sounds weird.
Josh
I like
gets to
it.
talk about what he effing wants. So, yeah.
Lee, what's yours?
Give me a second to think about it.
All right,
I
Aaron.
don't like this question.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
What are
cartoons?
I don't know. Don't figure me.
Cody?
Don't look at me.
I would say mine has changed throughout the years. I mean, growing up, like, watched Rugrats a ton, Ed, Edd n Eddy, Billy and Mandy I loved. But honestly, as far as like just cartoons go, probably Futurama.
It's a good one. Good answer. Good answer.
I mean, it's got a whole lot of nonsensical comedy and everything. There is like an overarching story, breaking that one thing that I thought cartoons was, stereotypically. But
Favorite adult animation, not adult, but favorite animation that's aimed at adults, and favorite animation that would be aimed at kids.
Sure,
right.
sure.
So Cody, you got Futurama. What was your?
I'd say Futurama would be favorite adult one. Yeah. Aimed at a kid, I might just have to go back into the movies for Disney and say like it's either between Lion King or Aladdin.
Let's do shows. So here we go. So favorite animated movie. Favorite. There's a lot of different stuff here.
Pray doesn't alter the question any further.
There's a lot of different stuff. There's a lot of nuance to this shit. Okay, shut up. So favorite adult aimed animation is Futurama. Favorite movie,
I'd probably go Lion King.
King. Then favorite like cartoon kids show,
Cartoon kids show,
like one that would be aimed at kids, right? Watership Down.
I would say since I quit watching cartoon like TV in general, went pretty young, but I'd say it was probably Billy and Mandy.
All right, now your favorite cartoon if you were a water newt.
if you were an axolotl, Aaron.
I really have
You have to get all three.
no clue what my favorites would be.
I can go.
have so many. Huh?
I can go if you want to.
Go ahead. There's so many.
So
that I'm
currently-
trying to think.
Favorite cartoon film would be The Little Mermaid. Disney's The Little Mermaid. Absolutely love it. Favorite cartoon show aimed at toward adults is probably The Critic, starring John Lovitz.
Oh yeah, that's the one with.
It
That's
stinks.
not cat. That's not Cats.
No.
That's Cats is the one where everything's shaky.
Right.
The Critic was okay. I remember the Critic. How many episodes did that have?
There's like 2 seasons.
Really?
It was wonderful. And then as for cartoons for kids, my current one right now is, and this is most people would be disgusted, is Yo Yogi. It was like a very 90s.
Yogi.
Yeah, it's like Yogi the Bear.
It
His
was
crew with teenagers.
It was
As
extreme Yogi. With it was like a Pup named Scooby Doo.
Yes.
It was that version of Yogi the Bear.
But it was like super late 80s, early 90s, and they all dressed funny, and they went to the mall. Yellowstone Park was a mall.
Oh my dear God.
Oh, it's so good.
I feel a little bit better about what my TV show
Well,
is
it's not
going to
good.
be, but actually, I feel really terrible about what my TV show is going to be because I know I'm going to get all kinds of hell. But Aaron gets to go first. I'm going last.
No, you go. I'm still trying to figure this out.
It's
I have
an easy
so many-
question. What do you like?
There's so many. There's so many I like, Josh. Listen, I went to
SWAT Cats.
I went to school.
Thundercats.
Oh, God, I love Thundercats. I love SWAT Cats. I love the Batman animated series. I love.
God. We didn't even talk about the Oh my dear Lord. Is that Yo Yogi?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
DuckTales.
You tell they're in the mall.
I guarantee you.
Darkwing Duck.
I was just about to say, I bet he skateboards or rollerblades at some point, and then I just saw Boo Boo on a damn skateboard. So, yeah, there it is. I nailed it. So, it's all the Hanna-Barbera guys.
Yeah, they're all hanging
like
on.
as teens.
Yeah, and there's wacky
Causing
racers.
trouble for
There's
the proletariat.
Wacky races.
Darkwing Duck.
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh, DuckTales.
Yeah, Courage the Cowardly Dog, DuckTales. There's the
Freakazoid.
new DuckTales, Freakazoid.
Change mine to
There's
Courage.
just so many, Josh. I can't pick I can pick a favorite movie.
Can I change mine to Courage?
Yeah,
I forgot.
And
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
Cody's changing his to Courage.
favorite movie is The Song of the Sea. I
Okay.
love that movie. It's such a good movie and so well animated.
I have a thing to end on when we.
Mhm.
What is it? Song of the Sea.
Song of Sea.
Oh
Song of the Sea.
yeah, okay. Song of Sea. That's the little girl with the dolphins, right?
Well, seals. She's a selkie. She turns into a seal.
Yeah.
Ah, my comrade.
Fantastic.
You made a miss.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. Oh, it's so good.
Okay.
It's. I think it. I don't know. I don't want to say it is generated for kids. It was one of them that I found on Amazon randomly one day. Threw it on, and it was when I had foster kids, and we loved it. And I still to this day can watch that show. I've watched it dozens of times. Love them.
What's your favorite like adult aimed animation?
I don't know because I like Futurama. I like Ren and Stimpy. I like.
Ren and Stimpy. I don't think was adult aimed. I think Ren and Stimpy.
Originally, the original idea for it was to be adult aimed, and they cut it down pretty heavy.
Did they cut it down?
Yes,
Yes.
the original was cut down. They come out with another one called Ren and Stimpy's. Was it Party Bash or something?
I know they
Adult
re-released on
Party.
MTV
Yeah.
later on,
Well,
and that was definitely adult
Spike
aimed.
TV.
This one actually
Whatever.
had nudity.
Yeah, they came out on
Yeah,
Spike
they
TV, and that's when they were supposed to. It was supposed to be even more risque, and
Yeah.
apparently it was. I didn't watch any of that one, but it apparently was not very good. Turns out cartoons are better when they get held back.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like
Because they have to
Zim.
come up with interesting
Invader
ways to get
Zim.
around things.
Those Invader Zim.
Yeah, that's
Targeted
classic.
toward older kids, or
No,
I think it was teens on Nick,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
it was like
think-
teenagers.
I've
That was when I was in
never
high
seen an
school.
episode.
It was targeted towards people who really liked Gerard Way and Hot Topic.
Yes.
Like Hot Topic has made their entire brand about Gur and cupcakes.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it's always the point I
and Happy
can't
Tree Friends.
enjoy Invader Zim.
I
Happy,
love
oh God,
Invader
Happy
Zim.
Tree Friends.
Yeah,
What
Happy
about
Tree
Flash?
Friends. There's just so many. I honestly couldn't pick a favorite.
Okay, what about kids show?
Muppet Babies.
Bluey.
Okay, well, here I'll
Bluey.
So,
Go.
So I said my favorite anime movie of all time is it's a tie between All Dogs Go to Heaven and Lady and the Tramp. And Risk my favorite Disney, but All Dogs Go to Heaven, that's not Disney.
Yeah.
And so, and listen, it's Dawn Bluth. Dawn Bluth.
There's our T-shirt. Our first T-shirt.
Dawn Bluth. There's 4 dudes.
Patron Saint
Dawn
Dawn
Bluth. Patron Saint Dawn Bluth. Is Dawn Bluth alive?
Yes.
Dawn Bluth, if you hear this,
We love you.
Hello.
that'll do. That'll do.
Cody's like, my finger hurts.
This Cody's finger hurts, Dawn. My favorite adult aimed. So it's Family Guy. Family Guy is just incredible. The writing is so dumb.
Shakespeare, dude.
It's so good. I love it. So it's so, and some of the jokes are so funny, like so witty, and some of it's just absolute gutter trash, and that's my favorite part of it.
Gutter trash.
And then, oh my god, I'm gonna get eaten alive for this. My favorite.
You can do it.
Well, I'm ready to roast it.
I really like My Little Pony.
Friendship is
Oh boy.
I really like My Little Pony.
Friendship is magic.
It is magic.
No, it's good.
It all comes full circle.
It's,
Josh is a furry.
I don't have a jar.
He is a
in my
brony.
house.
A
Okay, so I don't have a jar. I'm not a furry.
It's a good show.
I'm not a brony.
Oh really? You're really proving it to me.
I know. I'm really
You're either a
I'm-
brony or a furry if you like the show.
That is not. You're not. You can like something without participating in the culture. I like Invader Zim, but I never fully filled out a Hot Topic punch card.
Never fully filled out.
I hear my life. Yes, I did. Yes, I absolutely did. Well, I didn't. My mother did. I liked My Little Pony. The writing's good. The episodes are good. They're funny. Tara Strong's great.
Tara Strong's fantastic.
That was the chick that did Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Mm-hmm.
What in the hell's her name?
It's not Daily? E.G. Daily?
No. Who did my? I would know it any other time. She did Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, and she did Powerpuff Girls.
Yep.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, she did Powerpuff Girls with Gimli Tartakovsky. Yeah.
Tara Strong was in Powerpuff Girls too.
Yep. Tara Strong's in friggin' everything, man.
Yeah.
She was Dill on Rugrats.
Was she?
Yes.
Holy crap.
Gary's like, no, I hate her.
Tara Strong. Tara Strong, if you're listening to this.
She was Raven
That'll do.
Teen Titans.
It's Lauren Faust.
Yeah, Lauren Faust. Yeah, and she did Powerpuff Girls too.
She's
Right?
still doing Raven Teen Titans Go.
She did Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. She was on Power. She did Powerpuff Girls, and she did My Little Pony.
I actually don't see.
You're not seeing her credited on Powerpuff Girls. I might be making that up.
No, she's credited on Powerpuff
Okay,
Girls.
that's
I
what I
scroll
thought.
down for Sheldon.
Was she Buttercup?
No,
she's like one of the
animated.
creators.
Oh, the anime.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's not a voice actor. Okay.
No. No, she's the anime. Like it's her. Like you can tell with these things. Like it is her style. Like with the little arms, that like the little balloon animal arms and stuff on them.
Well, Josh, you may be happy to know that she does several different My Little Pony things. There's one where they're humans, apparently.
Yeah,
It's Equestria Girls.
Yeah, I've seen it too.
And I watched one of the movies, and it's garbage.
Um,
It's absolutely hot garbage. Equestria Girls is terrible. Lauren, stop it.
You should feel bad.
She also did the Superhero Girls.
I tell you, as a 34-year-old man, now listen, I watched this with my kids, okay? That was when we started watching it with my kids, and then I found myself watching episodes by myself, and then I found Brony Culture online, and then I could not look at myself in a mirror for a long time.
I can't say that. I mean, I watched Bluey, and I've watched Bluey by
Bluey's
myself.
It was wonderful.
I love Bluey.
Big City Greens is pretty good.
Yes.
That is, I think that's one of the common themes, or one of the common ideologies that we want to push here is, listen, what you like is what you like. If it's not hurting anybody, if you're not fucking weird about it, like, that's fine. You can like what you like. If you like to watch Blue, I got my one F-bomb in for thing.
Well placed.
It's okay to like things. It's okay to, as long as it's not hurting somebody, as long as it's not depicting someone being hurt that then leads you to want to hurt somebody. Like, it's okay to enjoy things. It's art. It's all art, right? That's why we like what we like. It's all art. We like the passion that people put into this stuff, and we're passionate fans about it. And so this is my soapbox I'm on about My Little Pony.
And this all counts for everything, and not just this, I promise. But especially this.
You wait till listen, Aaron has a Sailor Moon dice board game in there, and we've played it several times, and it's good.
And it's fun.
Yeah. So
Sailor Moon's good.
I've also watched many episodes of Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about anime
I've
right
watched
now.
a lot of things with Sailor Moon.
We will.
So I'm gonna narrow down to two.
Okay.
I'm gonna do and there's probably some more I'm missing that I love, but there are two cartoons I know I enjoyed. I've watched over a few times, like watched the series. There's two, and they're more recent shows. One is Over the Garden Wall and Gravity Falls.
Oh, Gravity Falls is incredible. Gravity Falls is
great.
Right up there with
Alex,
My Little Pony.
Alex Hirsch is hilarious and amazing, and I love it.
God, and they ended it like.
I've not seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen
Perfectly.
Gravity Falls?
I've seen the end of it.
Oh,
It's
Where are
on
you
Disney
at?
Plus. Go watch it.
yeah, it ended in
How long
like
ago was that?
in 2016 is when it ended.
God, guys, I just started watching it.
God, yeah,
How
threw
dare you?
threw your hands over your ears like, no spoilers. It's like 6 years ago.
Right, but I mean, if I hear it, I'm not going to watch it.
I mean, that's
You
fair.
obviously don't want to watch it now. You haven't watched it. It's been 6 years. You not poor enough?
Not poor enough for Disney Plus.
Poor enough to watch Disney Plus. We have regular cable. We pay $90 for commercials. I want
The way the good Lord intended.
I want my marketing to not be targeted. Throw them at me randomly. Let me decide.
And Over the Garden Wall is a short series by Patrick McHale, who's the one who did he's the one that did Adventure Time.
Oh, yeah.
Adventure Time's
I remember you showing me that.
Yeah, Over the Garden Wall is amazing.
I do think Adventure Time's overrated.
I've only watched like an episode or two, and I was like, I mean, it's okay.
Yeah, I thought it was really overrated.
Ooh.
Over the Garden Wall is an amazing short series. I think there's 12 episodes.
It's going on my list.
And it's on, I think it's on Hulu right now.
No.
If I remember right.
Okay, so here's the big drop, and it hasn't been mentioned once in our entire conversation about cartoons, and we'll use this as our last thing. We're already over an hour. Avatar.
Oh, yeah.
None of us have mentioned Avatar: The Last Airbender. You've never watched Avatar: The Last Airbender?
It is fantastic.
You have too much money.
Is that not anime?
That's my question.
It's Western animation.
It's Western animation,
but it's anime style.
Yeah. So would we consider Avatar: The Last Airbender and by extension The Legend of Korra to be anime?
I'll raise my hand to answer. In my opinion, I will say, I will say that first. In my opinion, no, because it is Western, even though it is an anime style.
No, you're wrong. You're stupid.
But it is Western animated, even though it's in an anime style. Just because I go and draw something in anime style doesn't make it anime.
This comes back down to the JRPG thing we had last week.
Yeah.
It's like a turn-based RPG can be made in a Western thing. It's not a JRPG.
Yeah, it's just an RPG.
Does it? So it matters where it's made by, or the studio that makes it, or the animator? Like, what does the nationality of the animator matter?
Well,
where do you draw your
anime
line?
is Japanese animated cartoons.
Yeah,
Japanese
So
originated.
could a Japanese dude in America do it?
yeah. What if someone immigrated?
That's a legit question.
Well, I mean, then it's done in a Western. It's done in a Western. Then it's not. I don't think it's an anime.
It's not in
This
a Western.
again, my personal opinion. It is done in a Western states. Then it is or country.
What if they make it here but sell it in Japan? What if the only thing is he lived in, Kemper?
Well, then it's still a cartoon.
Hideo Hitachi lived in a double wide in Kemper and made this, but we only sold it in.
Well, that's like saying if they watch
Hamtaro anime?
Hamtaro is
is
anime.
100% anime.
Right, but it can't feel like a cartoon.
Yeah,
But
it was presented like one, but
Shin-Chan feels like a cartoon.
That's what I was like, Japanese cartoons.
Yeah.
I mean,
The forbidden phrase.
anime is one of those.
It's an ambiguous term.
Yeah. It's kind of developed into its own thing, but those are technically anime.
Are they?
They are.
I think arguments can be made up.
In technicality, yes, they are. They
It's
are
because anime is just
Japanese animated.
It's anime is just a broad term.
Right.
Yeah,
because
because
it's cartoon and
It's,
anime.
like you said, it comes back to the JRPG. It's such a broad term anymore that it's like music. There's no longer just rock music. There's now you got to be like you got to be synthetic wave rock of
Contemporary.
I like to
hard rock,
imagine my cartoons.
I
I like to imagine my cartoons with a lot of fuzzy animal friends running around.
it's
They
one of those-
learn a
I
good
bet
lesson.
you
after
do.
I'm going to smack you on the.
But there is no right or wrong answer, really. Because at the end of the day, they're both cartoon. They're both animated.
What?
Apparently, my phone started a thing in my pocket.
Oh, in my pocket?
Old Gods of Appalachia.
Will you listen to Rusty? Yeah.
But
Old Gods of Appalachia, guys. We'll throw
Not
a
a
shameless
cartoon.
plug here. Go listen to that podcast if you haven't. If you like horror and anthologies and the Hills of Appalachia, go listen to Old Gods of Appalachia. Steve Shell and Cam Collins, absolutely brilliant writers on that. But
we'll see if we can get a sponsor.
Haven't heard the last
Steve Shell and I
Airbender.
went
It's
to St.
fantastic,
College.
though.
I don't know him, but
How long is it?
It is 3 seasons.
Oh, really?
it's
That's
so
manageable.
good, man. So
It
good.
has book 1 is just Book of Water. Book 2 is Earth and
Talking about
Wind.
Avatar?
Yeah, I think it's Earth and Wind, and Book 3 is Fire.
I thought we were talking about Old Gods of Appalachia, because Old Gods of Appalachia it's in its 4th season now.
I was like, you just
Pretty
said
sure- anyway,
you
pretty
just
sure
said
Avatar.
it's so good, and then you're like, oh, Avatar.
No, Avatar's amazing.
Yeah.
It has some
Incredible.
fantastic storytelling, honestly.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
If I felt there was an art, if the defining factor between anime and cartoon was like an overarching story with meaningful plot and character development,
Avatar is
rather
100%
than
anime,
sequential
man.
self-contained episodes, then I would call Avatar anime.
Yeah,
Like if that's
be.
where we're going to draw our line, which I won't. I think it's all cartoons.
Yeah,
but
now
if we were going to do that, now
Avatar does have like a couple of self-contained episodes that don't really matter to the overarching story.
Filler. I mean, how much anime has filler?
I mean, yeah, that happens a lot, but I mean, it's still not bad episodes. Like they still contribute to characters.
Yeah,
and stuff.
It was such a well done cartoon.
It was such a dumb cartoon.
It is one of the
turd.
It is one of the cartoons of all time.
I kind of skipped the word whale, and I was like, it's such a done cartoon.
Well, it is finished.
It is so done.
You know what Legend of Korra is good?
It's not as good.
It's not as good, but it's still really good.
Really good series. It actually Legend of Korra really filled in a lot of like backstory of how where like the avatars come from and where how they got their powers and where that came from and everything, which was really good. But yeah, it was generated. It's a Western cartoon that was generated toward anime fans with the art style, and it had such good story.
I mean, it was coming off the tail end of like when Toonami dropped off.
Yeah.
So did
Nickelodeon.
It was
commission this to be?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
as far as I know,
it was pitched and published by Nickelodeon.
But it was like just to kind of draw the line between Avatar and Legend of Korra. So in Avatar, you have Aang, who is kind of like he has this destiny to be. He's the last Airbender. He is the Avatar. That's the one who can control all of them, and he's the key thing. He's the strongest bender, right? And he's like fighting against that. Well, he just wants to be a kid. Right, so that's kind of the goal is him learning to accept his role as Avatar is the whole story there. And then Legend of Korra is the new Avatar. This time Aang's grown up, Aang's in it. And she accepts she's the Avatar, but it's her like humbling herself through. Like she wants to be that. Like she is trying to live up to that rather than pushing against it. She's fully accepted it, but is not fulfilling it, right? Like she's too headstrong or something. So it's a cool differentiation in the two storylines that you get to see. And then Korra has all kinds of cool stuff like the metal bending and there's lava bending and like it just kind of advances as these techniques that these people do get
like
better.
Combination.
It's lightning bending and I can't remember if the blood bending was in
blood bending, metal bending, and lightning bending was in the original Avatar.
Yeah, but they weren't like the metal bend. Well, we're gonna ruin stuff. But anyway,
there's a lot of really symbolic actions in there too that you have to actually watch and pay attention to.
Yeah.
Like there's actually a wound that two characters receive, one in the back, one in the front at two different times. I can't tell you who and when or why because spoiler for later, but it's supposed to be like a symbolic representation of one running away from something and one finally deciding to quit running into something. Oh, wow. So he got hit in the back. The one running away got hit in the back. The one running into it got hit in the chest. That type.
Yeah, it's really good. Storytelling's amazing, and you get Secret Tunnel. Secret Tunnel.
Is that where that comes from?
Yes. Secret Tunnel.
I forget the rest of the words, but the next part goes Secret Tunnel.
Those badgers loved it. All right.
How about this? What's your favorite Scooby-Doo? Because there's like 16 directions.
Who's the most powerful Scooby-Doo?
Shaggy. Oh, that's Scooby.
So what's your
Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Scooby-Doo, The New Generation? Scooby-Doo, 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 13
Guess Who
Ghosts?
Scooby-Doo.
Guess Who Scooby-Doo?
Because I love seeing the guest appearances and stuff.
I want to see if anybody says mine because I know what mine is.
Really good. I actually really like the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. Vincent Price.
Yes.
Flim Flam.
Yeah, mine is Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?
The original series is probably my second favorite.
Velma.
And then actually my second is probably 13 Ghosts.
Velma's my favorite Scooby-Doo. The new show.
Have you?
Time to get burned on the internet.
It's bad. I've heard it's bad.
There is an animation that somebody made that for Velma that she starts realizing something's going on, and Scooby kind of pops up and he's like, "I keep resetting the universe." But you keep realizing, so he's like he keeps killing them and resetting the universe.
Yeah, he's like what was it? He's like you.
He's like some sort of eldritch thing,
some kind of eldritch thing, and he's like, he shows the original cartoon. They're walking, and Velma just stops. Goes, anybody notice that Scooby can kind of talk? And he's like, oh, and then it shows him like just the rest of the body, the rest of the cast is like their heads are bitten off and stuff, and Scooby's got blood on him. It's like really, really weird.
There are. Guess who Scooby-Doo had on the cast? Globetrotters. Was that all those?
Yeah, it was all Batman.
Is that Guess Who Scooby-Doo?
Yeah. It was that was the Scooby-Doo where they had the guest stars on.
Yeah, that one was really good too.
Yeah, that's why I loved it. Is you got to see all these different guest
It's
stars.
called Guess Who Scooby-Doo.
Guess who Scooby-Doo? Yeah, and they actually.
Are we sure?
Yes.
I kind of want to fight
I
you.
have no idea, honestly.
Scooby-Doo and Guess Who.
Scooby-Doo and Guess
And
Who.
Guess
That's
Who,
what
sorry.
it was. Yeah.
I know it was Guess Who was in there.
Yeah.
I specifically remember the Harlem Globetrotter episode on that one the most.
Yeah. I remember the Batman.
Oh,
and
Go Home
Batman.
Globetrotters were on it like 4 times, weren't they?
Man, probably. I don't know.
They even had a Scooby-Doo copy cartoon. They had the what was it? The go-kart. The buggy.
Speed Bug.
Speed buggy.
Yeah.
They
And
had
Funky
Speed
Phantom
Buggy.
and Jabberjaw and all
Jabberjaw.
that.
They didn't have Funky Phantom on Scooby-Doo, but they did.
Oh,
have
they had Speed Buggy was on.
Speed Buggy was on a Scooby-Doo episode.
Was Funky Phantom Hanna-Barbera?
No. I don't know who did Funky Phantom.
I love Jabberjaw.
Yeah,
Jabberjaw is my favorite of the teens and talking animal genre.
You know, like
I mean, I love Scooby-Doo. Like Scooby-Doo's a classic, right? Like I'd kind of take Scooby-Doo.
Hanna-Barbera.
it is not
Really?
Huh.
I'd guarantee he's had to have shown up with Scooby-Doo.
I mean, it's the same guy who voices
Heavens to Murgatroyd.
Snaggletooth? What's his
Snaggletooth. Snagglepuss.
Snagglepuss. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Snagglepuss.
Snagglepuss. I'm
Heavens to
completely
Murgatroyd.
wrong.
It's the Funky Phantom and then Speed Buggy.
What was the?
Let's go that way, guys.
I'm blanking on the name. It was like the little snorkel fish.
Snorks.
Snorks.
Yeah.
Snorks.
Yes.
Oh my God, Snorks are like
The
Smurfs.
underwater Smurfs.
Yeah.
We're just gonna sit here and just
Smurfs.
It's
That's all it was.
It was underwater Smurfs.
That's true.
You're not wrong.
God, it was so good.
And
I loved it.
I think
All Star and
if I remember right, they actually had a crossover.
I guarantee.
I probably did. Yeah.
In an episode with a crossover.
Oh, I guarantee they did. Oh my Lord.
That's
We are so old. If my son listened to this, we might as well have been speaking Chinese. Last,
Any
like,
of these cartoons.
20 minutes.
So my recommendation, if you haven't seen it, is wait till your father gets home. It's like Family Guy from the 60s.
Wait till your
But
father gets home.
super conservative.
Okay.
It's like hippie bashing sort of stuff.
I mean, it's something that can be funny.
That's hilarious. The son's like a beatnik.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I mean, F is for Family on Netflix. That's Bill Burr, and that's kind of got that set in the '60s. You know, it's just that it's got that kind of hippie bashing, but it's kind of him, kind of coming to his own, trying to like he loves his kids, but he was never loved enough, so he's trying to like learn how to undo all that.
Is that like oral moral?
Oh my God, oral. Moral. That's a whole different show. Kids, don't Google oral moral. Google moral oral.
Don't Google bottom cat.
Google the blueberry.
You guys are talking about top cat. I just went bottom cat. Because you're talking about the.
Said don't Google bottom
Don't
cat.
Google bottom cat. So anyway, Rule 34.
Oh gosh. That's for another episode, I believe. That's the aftermath. Not.
Let me know what day you guys are talking about that, and I will go ahead and cut my finger off.
So I think what Lee just did is a good way to end this. Let's make a final recommendation to anybody watching this for something that we think to say, and when it doesn't have to be something that's our favorite, just something we feel we've watched that we suggest you watch. So turn off your damn phone.
I thought I had twice already.
All right, so Lee, yours was wait till your father gets home, and that's give us the 5-second pitch again.
Oh, 1972 there. Wow. So
1972.
it's just family. It's like the Flintstones, modern day sort of stuff, but super conservative.
Yeah.
There's like a neighbor that's constantly like complaining about communist and that sort of stuff. It's good stuff. Like, communists, you're out to get us.
Which is true. Yeah. So Aaron, what's your?
I would have to say Over the Garden Wall.
Yep, wrote it
Definitely.
down.
Okay, yeah.
It was such a good series. I loved it.
Right.
I think I would go with Avatar, actually.
Wrote it down.
Avatar. Okay.
Yeah, we had a long enough pitch on it earlier, and just like the symbolism and some of the storytelling bits, just like super good.
Avatar.
Mine is Watership Down.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna watch a cartoon,
Fireflies.
like I know it's not the most like lighthearted thing in the world, but it just like that sticks with you. Like Watership Down is just incredible art.
Yeah, I feel if you like that, you probably like Secret and M. Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, I love Secret and M.
It's dark, man, but it's gorgeous.
It's really good.
Yeah.
So good.
And Watership Down is my suggestion if you haven't. It is unlike anything else that's been suggested.
Okay.
You see the cute rabbits. They don't stay cute for very long.
Don't watch Scruffy.
You don't go watch Scruffy.
But do you want to suggest a movie?
We can suggest a movie too. Well, I suggested Watership Down. We've done our suggestions. Anything else you want? We said 4 million things on this podcast. Rewind it back, listen to it twice, pick some stuff.
I have so many that I even talked about.
We didn't even touch on Ghibli.
We actually
that's anime.
We did really good avoiding Freakazoid too.
Oh yeah, technically yeah.
That's Studio Ghibli anime.
Yeah, we didn't talk about Freakazoid.
We didn't talk about Freakazoid. We didn't talk about Animaniacs.
We talked about this last time we got together. We talked about Freakazoid the whole time until you guys left. And I'm really surprised we didn't talk about Freakazoid because I was afraid it was going to be like 90% of the episode.
Well, I love Freakazoid. I don't remember nothing about it. So
the lobe.
The biggest thing I remember is the cop. He said something off the wall. I don't remember what it was, but he said something, and it pops up at the bottom of the screen and it says important. And he said something off the wall, and it freezes and goes, not important, but interesting.
Love that show so much.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
The Animaniacs too, like a lot of the Warner Brothers stuff.
Yeah.
And then Batman the Animated
We
Series.
didn't even really we mentioned but didn't really talk about Looney Tunes.
Oh yeah.
Tiny Toons.
We talked about that when we got into the like stereotype, like the old stuff. Because that's really like when you think about Looney Tunes. I mean, Space Jam, right? Like Space Jam's fun. Is that a cartoon? Space Jam a cartoon?
Yeah, enough.
Enough of one. It's enough of one.
I think
it's
the
a
main
movie with cartoons characters in it, but I don't think it's a cartoon.
Well, I mean,
the main thing
the
for
majority of the
Looney Tunes
movie is animated.
Yeah, but that's like Mary Poppins. Is it a cartoon?
The majority of Mary Poppins isn't animated.
There's
There's a lot.
It's a small portion. Like if you flip flop the amounts around, Space Jam has way more animation than Mary Poppins.
I think Space Jam and Mary Poppins are basically the same movie.
Let's see what the internet says.
The internet's never wrong.
The internet's, as soon as we post this, the internet's going to say something. I'm probably going to get canceled for doing the damn Aristocats thing.
Space Jam is a 1996 American live-action animated sports comedy film.
Live action animated.
So apparently we're both right.
Everybody's right. And that's what we're going to end on today, guys. We're approaching the hour-and-a-half mark. And so we have some strong opinions about cartoons. And
we hate them all.
You continue on this this adventure, this podcast with us, everybody. And you're going to find out we have some strong opinions about a lot of things. Probably some wrong opinions about things, and as soon as we post them, let us know what you think's wrong. Let us know what you think, or what your favorite cartoon is. Let us know really anything. Suggestions for cartoons to watch. Anything and everything in between. Thanks for listening to us, and guys, where can people find you, Lee?
YouTube, YouTube at Pixel Bro Lee. Instagram at Pixel Bro Lee, TikTok and Twitch at Pixel Bro Lee. If you look at Pixel Bro Lee, we're not talking about anime. Bro Lee.
BROLEE, not Broly. Bro Lee.
And we'll start an anime show called Pixel Bro Lee.
Pixel Bro Animated.
Aaron, can people find you anywhere?
Here, my address is... Josh is giving me the cutoff signal.
Cody's
my social is somewhere deep in the hills.
Deep in the hills. Well, we're still locked in this water tower on the Warner Brothers lot, so hopefully somebody's going to come let us out at some point, because there were 3 young children that told us to wait here on them, and then they ran away. Yakko, Wacko, and Dot.
If you missed that.
Animaniacs reference, not actual kids. That would be weird. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody.